let me make sure I cover all the testing bases for you. So this is going to be like a quick fire test. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the players equipment, and I didn't even think about this earlier. Instead of putting it in the trunk, I'm going to put the combat armor on an NPC, and then I'm going to strip it off to see if it moves it to the trunk. So that would be actual pieces. And I believe I need to set the trunk to be the filter off. All right, so let me switch back over here. Let me verify that. Okay, good. We are recording. All right, so let's go back in and let's set this up so that I want to make sure the filter is off because I don't remember if it is or isn't. I think it's on guards or something. So, oh, filter is off, so we're good. All right, so yeah, we're good. All right, so let me grab this real quick. And this will rule out, because I apologize. I'm doing so many things this morning, I didn't fully read and digest what you were posting or what you were actually sending back to me. So it looks like what you're saying is it only updates a random.
Or wearing a teddy bear.
All right, I don't want to track items. What I want to do is
trade some things.
Always keep your knife sharp.
So let's go into, let's put the combat armor on, and then let's see. So she has her heavy combat armor on her leg, so we can see that. I just put that on. All right, so let's go over here and let's strip it back off, and that should put the heavy combat armor leg back into the trunk. See, it's not there. All right, so let's go in and test it. Let's do a test real quick. Okay, we want to reset all settlers. Okay, we've done this. Now, I believe it will be in here. Let's see. Let's take a look. Okay, so it is not. Okay, so see, again, it got their weapons, but did not take the combat armor off of her leg. So she's going to be stripped down. All right, let's see if she still has it in her inventory. Okay, I do not see it, but what I do see is debug armor. I don't remember seeing debug armor. Unless that is, let me equip that. Let's see what that does. Alright, so let's do a equip item. I have no idea. I don't remember seeing that one before. 602 6B 871.
Day.
Yeah,
Nothing
that definitely
beats that
doesn't
rush.
equip whatever that is. I'm not sure what that thing is. Alright, so let's go ahead. So we'll get a upper look here. Alright. Alright, yeah. See, this one I'm not sure. I don't know where that one came from. But so the weapons work. So she's got a new armor thing popping up in here, which is this debug armor thing. That was not in her inventory before, and what I don't see is the heavy. I don't see the. Oh, here we go. No, right here it is. Good, I got it. So the combat armor leg. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. I don't know what this is though. I don't remember seeing debug in there. And the combat armor left leg is unequipped. So the armor did unequip, but it did not add it to the trunk.
Just looking to trade a little.
So let me.
Keep your knife
Let's go.
sharp.
Let's check the next one out. So let me have that. Okay, good. Heavy combat armor, a leg. That's fine. All right. So let's go ahead and get her. Let's get her equipped there. Let's get her so she's not in the raw. Okay. So let's go to this guy.
Don't much care for good.
God, I just fell to the floor.
Nothing but trouble.
All right. So this guy right here. So let's take a look at him. All right. So let's do a show inventory. Okay, I don't see any debug. Okay, I don't see any debug armor listed in his inventory. So let's see if this.
I just need to trade gear with you.
Let's see what happens when we do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the combat armor. Let's equip it, right? So that way it is. Yeah, see, he falls to the floor. So let's do Jack here. Okay, so combat armor, left leg is worn and locked. And he has a gun that's worn. Okay, so let's go over to here. Yeah, that's what I'm working on with those weird little object things. All right, so let's strip it off. Well, let's take a look at the trunks. I want to verify it's not in the trunk. So the combat armor leg, it's not in there. So let's go in and load our tape. Okay. And let's reset all settlers. Okay. So we're out. All right. Okay. Wait, was that there? I don't remember. That was too quick. All right. So combat armor heavy is not in there. All right. So let's go back over to here. Yeah, buddy. That's what happens when we fall through the floor.
You know what I call a good
okay. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's do a show inventory on them. Okay, so, yeah, see, it's unequipped, but it is not being added to the trunk. Okay, so, yeah, there is something,
Let's trade.
there's something different about, let's get him something on. Come on, did that work? Did that not work?
Let's trade some things.
Sure thing.
There we go. All right, so... Yeah, so that gives you a quick test to show you how the items aren't being added to the trunk when they're stripped. And as far as adding back, I don't think, because the rifles and everything start getting added back over time. It might not be a bad idea to... Let me turn off God Rays. It might not be a bad idea to also have maybe an option in your holotape to, in effect, you have an option that you can toggle on and off, just like a conditional check, to where you can set it up so what you have, and like I say, I apologize for not really reading it more thorough, but from what I understand, what you're doing is you're getting a list of NPCs, so you have your array, and you are selecting an element in that array. You're randomly selecting it based on the number of elements you have. It's 0 relative. The array is 0 relative. So you select a number for the count -1, and that gives you a random NPC. And then you will randomly pick one of the slots. So you generate, like, let's say you have five potential slots. You got a chest, head, 2 arms. You have chest, head, arms, and legs. So you have 4 potential slots. So you will randomly check. You'll generate a random number from 1 to 4, and then or 0 to 3, and then you will look at that slot. Or 1 to 4, yeah. And you can you'll look at that. So you'll look at, so if 1, look at let's say helmet. If 2, look at chest. If 3, head, chest. If 3, look at arms. If 4, look at legs to see what's equipped. And then you're going by the item value to determine whether something can be swapped out. I wonder if there might be it might be a good idea, or just an idea for you to consider, if you have an option to where that's the default behavior of the mod, but you can also change it so that it filters through everybody at once. Like, let's say a quick equip, or like you have an admin strip everything off to test it. And let's say you remove that because you keep that in an admin kind of circle. But I wonder if you have another option in there, which basically says randomly equip. Random equip on. So if it's on, or something, but random equip on, so then it randomly chooses an NPC in a slot. Or if random is off, then it literally dumps everything. So it'll start from an NPC list and literally just dump everything in the chest across a list of NPCs if possible. Because what I was looking at is, from a user point of view, for people that use, like including myself, and I do this with things that I write too. What would a user consider to be expected behavior, and not to be confining or anything like that, or but I think that as an expected behavior, it would be nice for me to dump everything in there and say, okay, now I want to get all the leather equipped. So I can see where over the course of a gameplay you could trickle it in, and I think that's a great idea. But I was just wondering if there was a way to do that quickly, in a sense, an admin feature. So you have an admin strip, an admin full equip. And then later on, if you decide to add that as an option to where people can say, you know what, I'm just going to dump everything in here, all the guards that are within this range, I'm going to automatically give them all the combat armor. And then, because I like the idea of the trickle effect. But what happens is, to randomly pick an NPC, I like that idea. But if you randomly pick a slot, then that means that if you randomly pick an arm slot, like let's say you do it from the NPC side, and you randomly pick an arm slot for an NPC, there may not be any armor, like you're saying, in the trunk for an arm slot, so it skips that 10-second cycle. And it depends on what the RNG draws each time. So somebody may have a chest piece in there, but as long as the armor piece, if there's no armor piece in the trunk, therefore it's not going to equip it. So I wonder if it would be better to randomly pick the NPC, but then if you randomly pick, you can set the option to randomly update or, randomly upgrade, random upgrade on, then it would deal, it would look at the slot level, but since it randomly picked an NPC, is there anything in this trunk I can upgrade for that NPC? And that would be random, let's say off, or however you wanted to name that. Because I think that would be something more that somebody would expect. Like as an example, if they look at it from a role-playing perspective, I've put something in the trunk that I know somebody can use. Somebody can use this, but yet they're not getting it out. So they will see that as a bug and not really understand the random slot feature. Whereas I randomly pick an NPC, but once I have that NPC, is there anything? You don't have to like completely deck the you can still only select one item. But is there any item in this trunk that I can upgrade on the current on the random NPC that I chose? I think that would probably, might be a little bit more of what I think someone might expect to see, or how they're looking at a mod that upgrades it. Because once they pick the, because like let's say I'm an NPC and I walk over to a chest and say, okay, look, I'm gonna randomly pick, is there anything in here I can use? So you can still lock the trunk so that they can't get anything from it. You can still limit what is upgraded by whether you put anything in that trunk or whether you put lower quality gear in that trunk that only those who need it can get it, and you still randomly pick a settler. So I can see why a 10-second cycle, like a 10-second cycle, you could do it by NPC slot, and eventually it should hit all the items, because you're talking six times a minute. So just in 1 minute of gameplay, I could see where that could hit. So, that system might work as well. And it's probably just the fact that it's not, and I'll check again here this whole time the video. Come on. The companions, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, so, the armor does not equip. So even if it's a random slot, I don't think that's working. All right, so let me get her some clothes.
Nothing beats that rush.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just wanted to trade a few things.
All right,
I'm
let's get you hooked back up here.
Wearing a tie or wearing a teddy bear.
All right. So that's a quick fire video test on the armor, and kind of something I was thinking about. If it draws an NPC, go ahead and equip it, and that way. And you might do it. You could do it once a day on cell load. That's an idea, but I don't want to change. I don't want to put too many changes or suggest different things that might cause a lot of changes to take place. Okay, all right. Again, man, great job. Look forward to using it. I've actually been thinking about something like this for a long time. I mentioned it quite a while back in the Sim Settlement 2 forums, how that would be really nice if we had it. So, man, thanks again for kind of stepping up and making the mod. Great job. All right, good luck, and let me know when you're ready to test it again or if you need anything else.